SCP-106, The Old Man. Object Class Keter. SCP-106, also known as The Old Man. SCP-106 appears as an elderly humanoid in an advanced state of decomposition, coated in black, corrosive mucus. Any solid matter it touches begins a process of rapid decay. This effect is particularly destructive to living tissue, acting as a form of predigestion. The true threat of SCP-106 is its nature as an inescapable hunter. SCP-106 can pass through any solid matter, rendering walls, floors, and sealed bulkheads ineffective. This ability means conventionally physical containment is functionally impossible. Once it has selected its prey, evasion is not considered a realistic outcome. SCP-106 will stalk its target relentlessly, appearing and disappearing until it corners its victim. It does not always kill immediately. Instead, it often incapacitates its prey before dragging them into what is designated its pocket dimension. This pocket dimension is why an encounter with SCP-106 is considered a fate worse than death. The few subjects recovered from this dimension did not survive long enough to give a coherent debriefing. It is described as a labyrinthian realm, where SCP-106 has total control over time and space. Victims are subjugated to unimaginable torment, hunted for sport by the old man in his personal domain. Survival is not a matter of if you die, but how long you suffer before you do. There is no escape from its hunt, and no escape from its dimension. SCP-096, The Shy Guy. Object Class Euclid. The danger of this anomaly comes not from an active hunt, but from a single, simple mistake. SCP-096, The Shy Guy. This entity is a pale, emaciated humanoid, approximately 2.38 meters in height. Under normal circumstances, it is completely docile, showing no signs of higher intelligence, and appearing to only want to be left alone. However, if any person anywhere views its face, whether directly in a photograph or on video, SCP-096 enters a state of extreme emotional distress. After 1 or 2 minutes of screaming and crying, the hostile phase begins. SCP-096 will run at incredible speeds directly to the location of the person who saw its face. Nothing can stop it. Foundation logs are filled with accounts of its unstoppable nature. It has been tracked moving across continents and to the bottom of the ocean, tearing through any obstacle in its path. Its skeletal structure is seemingly indestructible and impervious to conventional weaponry. When it reaches its target, the outcome is always the same. SCP-096 will brutally kill and mutilate the individual. Based on recovered materials, there are never any identifiable remains of its victim. After the act is complete, SCP-096 becomes docile once more. You cannot survive SCP-096 because the trigger is absolute, and the response is unstoppable. It doesn't matter who you are or where you hide. If you see its face, you're already gone. The only variable is how much time you have left. SCP-610, The Flesh That Hates. Object Class Keter. Some threats do not hunt you. They consume you and make you a part of them. That is the nature of SCP-610, The Flesh That Hates. This anomaly is not a single entity, but a highly contagious disease transmitted through physical contact. The Foundation became aware of it after reports from a remote region in Siberia, where entire villages were lost. What they discovered was a biological nightmare. The infection begins as an apparent skin disease, with rashes and itching. Within hours, the victim's skin forms heavy, scar-like blemishes that spread rapidly, consuming the host entirely. Shortly after, all life functions cease. But they do not stay dead. After a short period, life functions restart, but the person is gone. The fleshy growth begins to move and mutate the body into something unrecognizable. The infected are driven by an aggressive impulse to spread the contagion to any uninfected life they encounter. Under certain conditions, an infected individual will become stationary and root itself to a location. The flesh then spreads from their body onto all surrounding objects, terraforming the environment into a landscape of pulsating, organic matter. Entire settlements have been consumed this way, forcing the Foundation to establish a massive quarantine perimeter. You cannot survive SCP-610 because there is no cure. Infection is a death sentence, followed by a horrific rebirth into a mindless, infectious monster. It is a plague that doesn't just kill you, it rewrites you. SCP-457, The Burning Man. Object Class, Euclid/Keter. While some anomalies are biological, others are elemental forces given terrifying life. SCP-457, The Burning Man, is a sentient being composed entirely of flame. SCP-457 is driven by a singular, simple goal: to acquire fuel and grow. It can begin as a tiny flicker, but with a predatory intelligence. It will jump to more flammable materials, assimilating other fires and increasing its mass. As it grows, so does its intelligence. A small flame acts on instinct, but a human-sized instance can strategize and communicate. Containment requires a fireproof chamber with sprinkler systems, but SCP-457 is relentlessly trying to escape. Its growing intelligence has allowed it to learn, and has been observed attempting to sabotage containment systems. Surviving an encounter with a loose SCP-457 is nearly impossible. It actively hunts living beings as a prime source of fuel. Its mere presence can ignite nearby objects, and it can spread fire rapidly to attack from a distance. The only way to subdue it is with overwhelming amounts of water or fire suppressants. But if even a tiny flicker survives, it will simply wait until it can find fuel and grow once more. It is a thinking, hunting conflagration. It cannot be reasoned with. If you encounter it, you are simply more fuel for the fire. SCP-3001, Red Reality. Object Class, Euclid. Some fates are worse than being hunted by a monster. They involve being trapped by an idea. This is the horror of SCP-3001, also known as Red Reality. SCP-3001 is not a creature, but a silent, empty pocket non-dimension. It is a void of near-total nothingness, characterized by an infinitesimally low level of reality. There is no ground, no sky, no matter, and no time. Only an endless, silent, red-tinged emptiness. The terror of SCP-3001 is not what's in it, but what it does to you. Prolonged exposure causes a person's own physical and mental structure to slowly disintegrate as their reality level drops to match the void around them. This is documented in the logs of Dr. Robert Scranton, a Foundation researcher accidentally trapped there for over 5 years. The low-reality environment prevents death, even from what should be fatal damage. Dr. Scranton's logs describe him surviving for years without food or water, his body slowly falling apart piece by piece, while he remained conscious. He documents the loss of his limbs and organs, the descent into madness from total isolation, and his 184 failed suicide attempts. He couldn't die. Simulations show a person can remain functional with over 70% of their body missing. You cannot survive SCP-3001 because it's not a place you can die in. It's a place where you're slowly and consciously unmade. It is the purest form of existential horror, to be erased atom by atom, over years of isolated agony, with your mind intact long enough to comprehend every horrifying moment. SCP-2317, the Devourer of Worlds. Object Class, Apollyon. Our final entry is not a creature that hunts an individual. It is a threat on a scale so massive that it promises the end of everything. At first glance, the file describes a simple wooden basement door, but what lies behind it is the reason for its true classification: Apollyon, an entity that cannot be contained and will actively cause the end of the world. The file for SCP-2317 is revealed through escalating security clearances. The lowest levels describe a complex ritual, Procedure 220, Calabasas, designed to reinforce the door's containment. But as one's clearance level rises, a horrifying truth is unveiled. The door opens to an alternate dimension. In the distance, 7 massive stone pillars stand, and chained to them is a colossal entity, a being well over 200 kilometers tall. This is SCP-2317, a primeval entity known as the Devourer of Worlds. The truly terrifying revelation comes at the highest security clearance. The elaborate containment procedure is a lie. It does nothing. It is a placebo, created solely to maintain morale and prevent mass panic within the Foundation itself. An ancient civilization bound the Devourer with 7 chains, but the Foundation file reveals that, as of the last update, 6 of those 7 chains are already broken. The final chain is expected to fail. You cannot survive SCP-2317 because nothing can. It is an unavoidable apocalyptic event. The Foundation knows it cannot be stopped. Its existence is a countdown clock to a ZK-class reality failure scenario, the destruction of our world. The horror of SCP-2317 is the quiet, bureaucratic acceptance of absolute, inevitable doom.